What is up, YouTube? It's been a while. I'm making a quick video. This is just kind of a quick chat. I appreciate you coming back to the channel. Y'all have hit 92 subscribers is the last I checked. And again, just want to thank you so much. We're on the road to 1,000, but it's still way more subscribers than I had ever thought. Also, if you're new to the channel, watching the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe or comment down below. Actually, if you don't subscribe, comment down below and tell me why. I can mindlessly guess, but it's a lot easier if you let me know. So if you don't subscribe when you watch this video, comment down below and tell me why. But really, the overall topic today is profession. So when it comes to us as musicians, I think there's two common thoughts of who a musician is or what they do or what they should do. I'll present the two sides of that coin and kind of let you know where I think the truth is. But also, too, this might help you as a musician trying to succeed, essentially, in doing what you love. So the head side of the coin is you're a touring musician. You've got multiple albums out. You're making a whole bunch of money. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, blah 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 blah. You catch my drift. You know, musicians are just automatically super successful and make more money than anybody else and are so privileged and blah 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 blah. The other side of the coin, and if you're a musician, I guarantee you'll understand this one. You're never going to make anything out of yourself. You should just stop. You should go get a day job. You should essentially stop investing in yourself and your craft and do something more worthwhile. As a working musician in this industry, I have to say that the truth, at least what I've learned in the last year and a half, and I've dabbled in this for my entire life, but when it comes to, actual everyday, I'm a professional musician and that's how I market myself. That's, playing gigs, working within the industry, teaching, those sort of things. It's not what people think. So what I want to get at is I want to debunk the first. We'll talk about the head side of that coin. Not every musician is successful, period. And accepting that is the first thing when you get into this field of work. None of us are inherently going to be successful. And what I mean by that is that you're going to be on the biggest tours, have the most album sales, have the number one hit on the Billboard charts, those sort of things. Just go ahead and, I mean, that's what you could want out of doing this. I'm not saying don't want it or don't push to get there, but go ahead and throw that out the window. Because if that's your only sight, then you're probably not going to be doing effective work. And what I mean by that is if that's all you're shooting for, then you're going to fail very quickly. And the reason why is because all those successes that do that sort of thing, it's by pure accident. There's no one, unless you're within the industry, meaning you're a high record label that has sold the song to your artist and told them it's going to be the next number one hit, and then you use your powers to make that be the case. That's about the only case something like that's going to happen. But when we talk about having that number one hit or being the top touring group right now, things like that, people stumble into that. It's by pure accident. They may have wrote a great song, and I mean, think about why we talk about one-hit wonders. It's because they were at the top of the top and then could not continue it. That is absolutely what it is. So, if you go in with the mindset that this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to be the best band in the entire world and things like that, I just don't know if you're going to be basically declining a bunch of stuff. And what I mean by that is songs that you write, you're going to throw out the window. You're going to be too perfectionist about it. So you have to produce to learn. You have to produce to just get your footing, in the industry. So to me, that's unrealistic. If you stumble into it, if you do like a Post Malone, where you just kind of, someone hears your track and it gets shared and shared and shared, and before you know it, you're one of the biggest grossing artists ever. So I think that's kind of what I'm talking about. I don't know if Posty thought that was going to be the case, if you know what I mean. I think he just enjoyed his music, and that should be enough to get you there. If you're going to get there, that should be the way you do it. That's the way you're going to be the most happiest. And still, his music's ever evolving. So, I mean, you can see he obviously didn't think the first couple songs were perfect. If he thought those were perfect, he would stop producing music. So, just keep that in the back of your head. It's probably not going to happen. If it does, great. Accept it. Use it to your advantage. But if it doesn't, that doesn't mean quit. So we'll talk about the other side of the coin. And this is the side of the coin that typically your family members will come to you with. And just other people around you that are not necessarily trying to discourage you. They're just, you're taking a risk that they've never taken. So, therefore, they think it is riskier than normal. And in reality, when you look at that musician saying, you need to go get that day job, you need to stop playing music or even stop playing music so much. A lot of the times that's what I hear, is it's like, you don't have to make this your job. You can just do it on the side, and it's what I enjoy doing. So how do you make that work? How can someone think that way so often and be wrong? And what it is they don't look at it from the perspective that you do. And what I mean by that is that essentially investing in yourself this way is making your own business. So to tell anyone who's ever started a business that no, they need to go get a day job, they need to, you know, ignore their talents and go work for somebody else and never invest in themselves because it's too risky. If you would have told any individual that started a successful business that, you know, they would have told you you're wrong. Period. You look at guys like Jeff Bezos, you look at, you know, Steve Jobs. I mean, there is so many individuals that have taken the jump, and the majority of the time it is an educated jump. It's not like we're doing it willy-nilly, but it's an educated jump, and it pays off. And so if you want to be a working musician, if this is something that is just your life, there are so many different things that you can do within the industry to maybe subsidize what is your favorite portion of it. And what I mean by that is, if you want to be a studio musician, meaning you want to play for other musicians in the studio on their records, then obviously you want to get yourself out there, known for that. So you work towards that. Now, that might not pay your bills today, but something else that you're decent at within the industry might. So let's say, okay, well, most commonly it's just your playing. Your playing is what solidifies you in the industry. Go play with a couple different bands, pick up a couple different jobs there. For me, I love education. So teaching music is a great way to support yourself while you're doing the fun stuff on the side. And when I mean fun stuff, I'm talking about recording music, playing in my original projects, you know, because original projects don't make quite as much money. So that's kind of what I'm getting at is, you know, I'm going to support myself with my education, and I really do enjoy it. You could do that. You could just as well, let's say you're good at repair, you know, you're good at music repair. You could work for a store doing that, or, you know, maybe you're just like being around music gear. In that case, while you're working up the other stuff, maybe work in a music store. Maybe you like the buying, selling, trading end of things, and you want to do this on Reverb. And so you're being a musician, but you're also collecting, buying, selling, trading stuff, and people pay their bills that way. There are so many different things you can do, and I just don't think people realize the diversity of what is here, you know, being a professional musician. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. If you have any doubts about your decision to be a full-time musician, I don't think it's the doubts. I think you need to come to terms with realistically what you would be willing to do to make that work. So that's the big thing. That's the big thing. If you think that you can't do it, but you want to do it, then sit down and realistically figure out what you would be willing to do. If you only want to be a touring musician or playing live, well, just think of how narrow that road's going to be. So if you're willing to do a lot of different types of things and diversify, there's no reason you couldn't do it in any area in this world. I have the feeling that even if you were in the smallest of towns, because I live in a small town, even if you were in the smallest of towns, you would find a way to make it work, because I did. I do think this was a cool topic, mostly because it's thought so clear-cut, and it's just not as clear-cut as people think it is. So if you're a new musician or you're wanting to work in this industry, I promise you, you can do it. You just have to think of what you would be willing to do. And if that is a very narrow road, then many a musician have worked that day job and done the weekend warrior thing and gotten successful. So don't think that that doesn't work. I'm going to end this on like a slight comparison. I was listening to Joe Rogan, and he had Gabriel Iglesias, a comedian, Fluffy, if you will, on his podcast. And they were sort of talking about, working for yourself. And Gabriel had quit his day job of 6 figures, selling cell phones in the 90s, to be a comedian. And it was hard. It was hard for him. But look at where that dude is now. He diversified. He wasn't in your common comedy clubs. He was looking for every opportunity to be in front of people that there was around him. And he was looking to make a decent amount of money with it. I'm not saying it's a good lifestyle. I'm just saying that it worked for him and he found his way through it. So just kind of throwing that out there. I know he's not a musician, but it's the same thing. It is absolutely the same thing. So figure out what you're willing to do. Draw those lines. There's always the case of prepping for something like this. It's, maybe save a lot of money to have that setback to protect you if something doesn't work out when you make the jump. You can try again. If it fails the first time and you got to go back to a day job, you can try again. There are so many different ways to do this. None is the wrong way as long as you're succeeding and living and learning. So either way, if you're a musician and you're interested in this kind of conversation, this is a little different than anything I've ever done. But hit that subscribe button down below. If you don't want to hit that subscribe button, remember to tell me why down in the comment section. And we're almost there, people. Almost to the 1,000. I'm hoping to bring you more content here soon. My life has been turned upside down. But it's getting easier. We're getting more scheduled. So hopefully more scheduled content to come. But thank y'all so much. I hope y'all have a great evening. Deuces.